When you're doing yoga at home, why do you want to take the time to set up your space correctly? So you don't burn down your house. My first tip is motivation. Taking the time to set up your home yoga space makes it much more likely that you'll actually practice yoga. And isn't that what you want? Hi, I'm Kate, and on this channel, we help people new to yoga go from unsure and intimidated beginner to confident practitioner with a strong body, clear mind, and inspired life. This video is for you if you are looking to practice at home and get the most out of what you already have. And spoiler alert, most people do not have a lot of room, contrary to what you see on yoga ads. So today I'm sharing insider tips based on seeing over 100 home practice spaces. And yes, that's possible thanks to the magic of Zoom. As I mentioned, motivation is the key reason to consciously set up your yoga space. And it's why you'll want to watch this video all the way through. Plus, it'll make it easier and more pleasurable to practice yoga. Pro tip, if you can leave out your yoga mat, you're more likely to use it. Some people have the option to have it unrolled all the time, and that's great, but even sitting in the corner works too. The point is that your mat is a visual reminder to practice. Number 2, use the space you have. You actually need less space than you might think to practice yoga. When I design a commercial yoga studio, I designate 20 to 22 square feet per person, or roughly 2 meters by 1 meter. Since the yoga mat is 6 feet long and 2 feet wide, 22 square feet gives you a little extra space all around it. The most popular places people set up their yoga mats are in their living rooms and their bedrooms. You can even sometimes squeeze your mat between the bed and a dresser or a wall. When you're looking around your home, sometimes moving a piece of furniture, like a small table, can open up an ideal place to practice. And it helps to try your mat in a few different locations and see what feels best. If you have more room to play with, it's ideal to be able to stretch your arms and legs out and have a little free area, both in front and behind the mat. Bonus tip, if you're taking online classes, you can adjust the instructions the teacher says. If they say go to the back of the mat, but you have no room back there, it's okay to stay in the middle. Or you might have to turn the posture to the side to make your space work for you. Know that that's always okay. Number 3, avoid dangerous spaces. No, I'm not talking about practicing in the middle of a road or in a snowstorm, but a quick look around can prevent disaster. By the way, did you know there's guidance to set up your space that comes from a yoga text several hundred years old? And it says, practice in a place the length of a bow, which is about 1.5 meters, where there is no hazard from rocks, fire, or water. That's good advice. The first 2 dangerous space categories are fire and sharp things, besides rocks. Fire means avoid setting your yoga space on fire. Candles, for instance, are lovely. Just don't have them so close that you can knock them over. That's not very calming. Space heaters are another thing to watch out for. Sharp objects may not be as obvious unless you're practicing in your knife room. The corners of tables and chairs can be sharp, especially if you fall on them. In fact, bad things to fall on is its own category, including Legos and other small toys. Glass coffee tables are another hazard. Take the time to clear your space and make it safe. I don't want to give you the idea that there's a lot of falling in yoga, but we do practice balancing, so, One other category is to be mindful of things you can break when you reach out your arms or lift your legs. I've seen people practice next to plates they have hanging on their walls or glass shelves with more glass on it. Just be careful out there. Tip 4, seek smaller spaces. This might seem counterintuitive, but as humans, we naturally favor smaller spaces over their larger counterparts. That's because they feel cozy to us. When you're practicing yoga, you want to feel safe and secure so you can relax in the practice, and small spaces do just that. Small spaces are also easier to control the temperature in. Other things to keep in mind? A flat floor works best, but it doesn't matter if it's wood or tile or some other material. Carpet can work too if it's a flatter carpet. If it has a high pile that your feet sink down into, you could have a harder time trying to balance. I know having a door can be a luxury, but maybe your room has a door. And if it does, you can close it to prevent furry animals and small children from wandering in. Or was that furry children and small animals? Again, that might not be realistic. Tip 5, set the scene. If you're practicing by watching videos, you're gonna need something to rest your device on. This could be as simple as stacking a few books to prop up your phone or your laptop. And bonus tip, make sure your device is on airplane mode with Wi-Fi enabled so you aren't getting calls and texts during your practice, but you can still stream your video. Also, sound is the most crucial part of watching videos, but you might also want to play music when doing your own practice. There are 3 ways to handle this: default speakers, external speakers, and headphones. Devices speakers vary widely. That can make hearing your phone or your laptop a challenge if they have tiny speakers. Some sound okay, but most don't give you a lot of volume, even when turned all the way up. And there's a reason for that. They are designed for you to be close to them, not at a distance, such as when you practice yoga. There's a simple solution. Get an external speaker. In other words, a Bluetooth speaker. You can put it closer to you, and most of them sound far better than any device's speakers. There's one other option for sound, and that's to use wireless headphones. I've seen a lot of people use the Apple products, and if that's what you have, that's great. But if you can, I recommend getting wireless headphones built for sports, especially if you move and change positions a lot, like we do in yoga. That brings us to lights. Light is best when it's calming, and you have the ability to adjust it, such as with a dimmer. What makes a light calming? The temperature color. You want to think of soft white instead of daylight, which is much bluer. This is especially important if you're practicing at night, because light that looks like daylight can mess with your body clock. And avoid overhead fluorescent lights if at all possible. There's a simple solution for this too. Turn them off and use a floor lamp. Floor lamps don't have to be expensive to be effective. Just remember to put a light in there that is a soft white. Natural lighting is ideal, so consider practicing near a window. And because it's natural, it will support your circadian rhythm. For final resting posture, it's a sweet touch to turn off your lights, as long as it's easy to do. Finally, adding greenery can be uplifting. Even a small plant like a succulent makes a huge difference. You might also put up a photo of someone who inspires you and reminds you of why you practice. Tip 6, communicate. Or more specifically, communicate with the people in your home. Let them know you'll be unavailable for a bit. Clearly communicating gives you the time and space you need to practice. Closing your door might be all you need to do, or hanging a sign on the handle. Communicating can also be activating the Do Not Disturb feature on your phone. And believe it or not, the more routine your practice is, the more people try to give you space. For instance, I've seen small children come and rest by their moms quietly because they know it's her yoga time. Tip number 7, use your home to your advantage. At home, you can do things you can't in a yoga studio, such as having the room set at the temperature you like. You can also add little flourishes like putting your favorite scent in a diffuser. You can even practice in your pajamas, if that's what you're feeling. On the more practical side, you can use your environment to help you with the practice, such as being close to a wall to help you balance, or even using a chair. And at the end, you can have a blanket nearby, ready to cover you in the final resting posture we call Shavasana. If you've never tried it, it can take your practice to a whole new level. You are now ready to set up your own home yoga space. But there's more to yoga than just getting a good mat or breathing right. So I put everything you need to know to get started in this video right here. Watch it next.